Hi there, my name's Rose of Dawn, and today I'm going to be commenting on the recent controversy surrounding NUS trans officer Jess Bradley. On the 22nd of July, a Twitter user named No More Silence shared screens of a Tumblr account allegedly belonging to NUS trans officer Jess Bradley. Many people found the contents of the blog shocking, to say the least. It featured dozens of pornographic images with tags including "Dad rapes son" and even a drawing of cartoon character Ben 10 having sex with an adult man. But what was most disturbing was a number of photographs supposedly taken by the blog owner exposing their penis in public areas, including in a park, on a train, at a bus stop, and even at their place of work. The account that shared the images, who claims to be a trans person, said they did this to expose Jess Bradley to the community at large. They said they'd notified a number of trans organisations about the blog as well. In one of No More Silence's last posts, they said, "We seek restorative justice and have no interest in punitive or carceral approaches. But restorative justice must start with a genuine admission of wrongdoing, a proper engagement with accountability processes, and a meaningful surrendering of institutional power." While some of the images included certainly matched Bradley's own interests, like the one in support of queer Antifa, there was no way to confirm whether this was indeed Bradley or not. Even the photo taken at the place of work, while certainly bearing resemblance to Bradley's own desk, wasn't 100% confirmation of their identity. So, like many others, I wrote this off as nothing more than an attempt at slandering Bradley. This changed on the 28th of July, when the Daily Mail reported that Jess Bradley had actually been suspended as a result of the blog, with a full investigation currently taking place at the NUS, and Bradley even posted a statement on their own blog following the revelation, saying, "I appreciate at this time there is a lot of speculation about my conduct, and I am able to tell you I am confident that none of my behaviour has been unlawful, that I have not engaged in sexual activity with anyone or in the view of anyone without their consent." Now, I need to clarify that as the investigation is ongoing at the time this video goes up, I cannot say whether the blog is indeed Bradley or not, so I won't condemn them for the images as everything is still alleged at the moment. But what I can comment on, and what I'm looking at today, is the reaction to the allegations being made public by the Daily Mail, and the silence that is followed by the mainstream and LGBT media, student groups, and even other trans activists. I should also point out that in their statement, Bradley does not deny the allegations, only saying they're sure they've not done anything illegal. That's important to note when you consider some of the articles written following the announcement. Following the Daily Mail breaking the news, a handful of websites ran with the story, but the tone and even the facts in the reports paint an interesting picture. Whilst the tab went into detail on the nature of the complaint, the Manchester Evening News and gay site Attitude ran with Bradley denying the allegations. But that's not entirely accurate. Whilst we don't know whether what's been said is true or not, Bradley has only said they've not done anything illegal. These are two very different statements and speaks to the agenda both these news outlets have in support of Bradley. The Mail was the first to break the story, but they were also one of the few to report on Jess Bradley specifically defending violence against women they disagree with. Similarly, the NUS were also silent when this was made public and saw no issue with their trans rep supporting political violence. Outside the mentioned publications, the silence from the media, both mainstream and LGBT, has been almost deafening. From the likes of The Guardian and The Telegraph to Gay Star News and Pink News, there's been a surreal lack of comment from any news sources that this is even happening. Which is strange because, like it or not, Bradley is a public figure. They've written for the Huffington Post on trans issues, they've been invited to speak to Parliament on behalf of Action for Trans Health, and a few days before they were suspended, Bradley was prominently interviewed by Sky News. With allegations as serious as flashing in public, the public has a right to know what the NUS's trans representative, who puts himself in the public eye, has been accused of. There's a chance the silence may relate to a point raised by the Mail in their article, where they said Bradley had instructed prominent libel lawyers Carter Ruck to stop any publication of the accusations. But other news sites had also reported on the matter, with their stories still up, so I'm not convinced the silence is due to the threat of legal action. I should also highlight that Carter Ruck are not cheap to hire, and Bradley earns only £24,000 a year for their role, so I think there's a serious question to be asked of how Jess Bradley is affording them. As expected, the NUS has been quiet on the matter, only issuing a statement to the Daily Mail. There has been no comments from the other NUS liberation campaigns, including the LGBT, women's, black and disabled groups. This is in stark contrast to earlier in the year when NUS President Shakira Martin was accused of bullying and intimidation, and other NUS leaders, including Jess Bradley, were openly critical of her. Strangely though, the trans campaign's Twitter account was nuked following Bradley's suspension. Not even an explanation given to their members, it just disappeared. I'm sure the trans campaign will have concerned members following the revelation, and to blatantly remove an avenue for them to get in touch looks like they're more interested in pulling rank and protecting themselves than being held accountable to their own members. To clarify, the NUS do not need to confirm or deny the allegations or to condemn Bradley at all, but they should let their members know they take all allegations of this nature very seriously. The NUS has a habit of calling out people and institutions gleefully, but the impression they're currently giving is that when it's one of their own, they shut down. It should not have taken the Daily Mail, of all outlets, to make these allegations known to the public. This should not have been hidden by the NUS. The responses from trans activists have been mixed, although mostly quiet, and only a few have really spoken out against Bradley. An LGBT officer from London School of Economics was critical, and the University of Birmingham's Women's and NB Society changed from being defensive to actually sharing the tweets from No More Silence. But others have instead lambasted the media and members of the public for trans misogynistic attacks, not just on Bradley, but on the trans community as a whole. Some have even called the criticism kink shaming. Of course, there's going to be some gender critical individuals who will use this as an excuse to smear a whole group of people for the alleged actions of just one. As reprehensible as this is, it's inevitable given the situation and even the nature of modern discourse. But to pretend the criticism of Bradley is an attack on all trans people is hugely disingenuous. They are trying to frame the accusations against Bradley as a class issue that affects all trans people, which is blatantly not true. A criticism against Bradley is just that, a criticism against an individual. And trust me, I've never considered Bradley to be representative of trans people at all. What's more, a lot of the coverage has even been defensive of Bradley, and the more critical stories have been clear they are talking about only Bradley. Neither the Mail nor the Tab have used this story as a smear against trans people, and both have been very clear on who they are talking about. But would we be seeing such defensiveness if Bradley didn't self-identify as a non-binary trans woman who uses she and they pronouns? I'll let you be the judge of that. Before I round this off, I want to make a few predictions. Again, I'm not talking on the validity of the allegations, but rather on what course of action I think the NUS and Jess Bradley will take. Whether Bradley is found to be innocent or not, I don't think they're going to be going anywhere. They'll likely issue a statement saying they've been the victim of a vicious smear campaign by the right-wing press and gender-critical feminists, with the phrase kink-shaming being thrown in for good measure. There'll be no message out to the NUS members about the matter, and Bradley, who earns £24,000 a year after running unopposed for their position and only received 61 votes to represent thousands of students, will continue at their role. I would like for the NUS to be completely open about the situation, and I'll do my best to get whatever information I can once the investigation is complete one way or another. But I don't think they're being accountable enough here, and I'm sure there will be more to comment on when the investigation itself is complete. But regardless of the outcome, there are still some real questions for the NUS to answer here. Why are they so unaccountable? And why are their representatives so unrepresentative? So what do you think? Are you happy with how the NUS has handled the situation? Or do you think they need to do some more? Please let me know in the comments. But again, to stress, the allegations against Bradley are still only alleged at this time. So I don't encourage any posts insisting she's guilty. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter, although there might be a little bit of difficulty in doing that because I appear to have been shadow banned for saying wrong thing. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.
Give it up, gonna be